Hello, everyone. This is Amy from Alpha Advisors. Today, we have a great guest from Health International Business School. Health International Business Schools have, today we have 4 bachelors at Health International Business School. There are a campus at Boston and London for Health International Business School, BBA program. And today we have Kali from Howard. He is a vice president of Howard International Business School. And we will go over the Howard International Business School program and about the application. So if you have any questions or comments, we are welcome to receive your questions and comments in our YouTube channel. And also we have free consultation for your application and selecting the school and future career. So please feel free to contact us, Alpha Advisors. So Kali, could you start your presentation?
Yes, good morning, everyone from Bangalore in India, where I am today. Thank you very much for inviting me. My thanks to Alpha Advisors. I am very happy to be here. My name is Kalle Thorén, and as said, I am the Vice President of Finance and Strategy for Hult International Business School. I grew up in Sweden, went to university there. Then I spent the next 4 years working in Australia, Sydney. After that, I moved to Hong Kong for 3 years. After that, I moved to Switzerland, and now I live in the UK. My entire career, almost, I've spent in higher education, for the vast majority building Hult International Business School. And today we're going to talk about Hult, the design of Hult, why the school looks the way that it does, but also about some of the mistakes that I've made and the mistakes over the years that I see international students make. And the most common one is the one that I made myself. I studied the wrong thing. I studied to become a lawyer. It took me 4.5 years of very hard studies to become a lawyer. It took me 4.5 months in a law firm to understand that I did not want to be a lawyer. I studied law because my parents told me that I should. And I liked it. I liked the way that it looked in the movies. I liked the suits and the courtroom, etc. And the mistake that I made was that I confused the finish line with the starting line. As a 17-year-old, you want to survive high school, you want to get into a great university, and then you want to get a job, and then you're done. But the problem is that that is not when you're done. That is when it all begins, right? And I went into a law firm and I was surrounded by people who were much better than I was. Even though I was a very good student and I went to a very good university, I was suddenly surrounded by people for the first time who loved their jobs. They loved their jobs, they loved being lawyers, and I did not. It turned out that it didn't suit me well. I didn't enjoy saying no. I didn't enjoy slowing things down. I don't enjoy being careful. All these things are crucial if you're going to be a lawyer. I wanted to build things, and I want to say yes, and I want to run 1,000 miles per hour. And that is why Hult International Business School is very meaningful to me. Because it is, to me, a lot about how can we help young people understand what it is that they love and what they want to do. And whatever it is that you enjoy is where you will be competitive. It sounds like a soft value, but it's really a hard one. It is really hard to compete with people who love what they do if you don't. And that is why it's very important that you try to fully understand what it is that you enjoy, what it is, what kind of environment you see yourself in after you graduate, when you do your first job. So, with that introduction, I'm a very lucky man. I stumbled upon Hult and I have a really, really fun job. But it was very near that did not happen. So let's talk about Hult and how it came to be. Now, Hult International Business School was, let me get my presentation going, founded by a man called Bertil Hult. He is a Swedish super entrepreneur. The reason I say that he's a super entrepreneur is that he's built a business from 2 empty hands. He's a self-made man, 52,000 employees around the world, but it's still a family business, which is something that is very, very hard to do. He has grown his business by only reinvesting his own profits. He is the only shareholder, and his sons are now running it. This is something that is very hard to accomplish. But that is not the most interesting thing about Bertil. The most interesting thing about him is that he is severely dyslexic. He cannot read to save his life. He's very good at numbers, he's good, has a great memory, but he cannot read. Going to school, he was told his entire life that he was no good. His mother had to read him the books at night, and he memorized them. Then he went to university, and he had to drop out. Right? But then he went on to create far more than I have ever created in my life, and I was a very good student. And to Bertil, this was very interesting. What is the unharnessed potential of students? If he can accomplish all that he has accomplished whilst not being a good student, what could other students really do if they were allowed to train in a different environment, to be educated in a different environment? So what Bertil observed, because of course he has hired and fired more Ivy League students than anyone I know, and what he observed being the problem is the following. Traditional education is very focused on knowledge. As you can see from this slide, if it's business, marketing, accounting, operations, psychology, it's theory-based. That is how traditional education works. We sit at university in a huge room with 300 people and we take notes. Then we go to the library and we memorize books. Then we take a test. And 2 weeks later, we've forgotten everything we memorized. What we're not taught in such an environment, and the reason traditional universities do it, is because it's scalable. You can put 20,000 students in one campus, and you can educate this way for many, many, many people. But what we're not being taught are what employers are actually asking for, which is creative and critical thinking, communication, learning to learn, collaboration. The list goes on and on. And the difference between skills and knowledge is also that if we take any skill, I play the guitar myself, so it's my favorite example. I love to play the guitar. I travel with it when I go around the world. You can take my guitar from me and give it back in 3 years, and I will still know how to play. And I know that I know. The confidence of it. But I can't remember what I read in the newspaper last week. Right? Because human beings are not designed to learn by memorizing text. We learn by doing. And with that comes the confidence, the feeling that you know how to do something. Even if I, as a young man, scored perfect on my tests in high school, I was not a very confident person. Because I knew, I don't remember. I have a nice grade from last year, but I don't remember any of the information that I memorized in order to get it. So this is what Bertil observed. And he was thinking to himself, how can we build an institution that is different to address this? How can I create a bet? Because this is what Bertil got when he dropped out of university, right? This is the things that he had to learn that made him successful. It had nothing to do with the knowledge piece. It had all to do with being out in the market doing real business. So the observation was that just like with the guitar, skills can only be obtained through practical learning. But practical learning do two more things. As I said in the beginning, one, it helps us figure out what we enjoy. Anything that you enjoy doing as a person, you enjoy it because you do it, not because you read the theory of it in a book. And two, it stays with you in a whole different way. If you come to Hult and there's no written exam at the end, I push you on stage. You have to deliver a perfect PowerPoint, a perfect presentation in an international team, and you hand over your business proposal to the professors. That is the exam, right? But you come off that stage feeling amazing because you feel like, I can do this. I pushed through my fears. I've done it once. I've delivered. And this is what companies will be asking you to do as well after you graduate. Right? No one in the working industry will ask you to memorize a book to take a test. No company will ask for that. So Bertil gave us a few rules. When he retired, he bought Arthur G. Little School of Management in Boston. He renamed it Hult International Business School. This was 20 years ago. And he gave us a set of rules based on which we have to design this university, design this school. And those were as follows in order to achieve a different learning environment. You teach one subject. We teach only business. Why? Because every student on campus needs to have a love for the same subject. Everyone around you is talking about the same thing. Right? The second rule was you build it small. To feel connected to a company or a family or a school or whatever it is, you want to feel that connection. It's much harder if there's 20,000 students out on the countryside learning a myriad different subjects, from chemistry, biology, and engineering to law or philosophy or business. So our campuses for undergraduate holds 1,000 students. We fill one up, we build another one. The classroom, on average, is 50 students to a professor. And we build them in the center of the city, where the businesses are, not on the countryside. Right? So, as mentioned in the introduction, we have two main campuses in London and Boston. There's also additional campuses in Dubai and San Francisco. Why are we building campuses around the world? And more importantly, allowing the students to bounce between the campuses during their undergraduate? Well, it is because it's practical learning to see a new city, to adapt to new people, to adapt to a new place, is something that matures you and makes you more independent. Right? We don't do it because it looks good in a brochure or because it's fun for an 18-year-old to see the world. That is a bonus. We do it because it is practical learning to travel the world, to understand how other people function. And then we have the two most important rules. What? Diversity by design. At Hult, no one nationality is allowed to dominate the classroom space. So over 1,000 students, there's 150 nationalities, speaking 109 different languages. But the most important statistic is the one you see at the bottom of my screen. No nationality represents more than 8.1% of our student body. Why is this so crucially important to Burton when he started the school? Is that if you go to a traditional university in Sweden, everyone is Swedish for me. If you go to the US or the UK, you're going to have 80-90% UK students or US students, and then 10% international students. And out of those, a large portion will be from India or from China. Right? This is not allowed to happen at Hult. No one nationality is allowed to dominate. There's not more Americans on our Boston campus than any other nationality. There's not more UK students in London. It creates for a very unique environment because everyone comes from everywhere and everyone is discovering the new city together at the same time. It is what brings companies to Hult. It is what brings students to Hult. It is what brings professors who wants to teach at Hult, because it's much more fun to teach a room of 50 with 50 different nationalities in it. But why we do it is because you want to be a businessman or a businesswoman one day, you want to be a part of this global society, you need to have these people, the world around you in the classroom. So we have a cap on how many students we take from each country. This year from China, one of the largest countries to go to the US and the UK, we take 20 students. And it's not an elitist thing. We'll get to the admissions in a bit. It's not about who has the best grades in the world. It is about who wants it the most. But it is exclusive in the sense that the diversity is something we have to safeguard, because it is one of the most crucial pillars on which we've built Hult. We provide the world in the campus like no other school. And the final rule Bertil gave us, practical curriculum. Now, before I talk about the practical curriculum, because it is very different to the traditional university, it's important to note that Hult International Business School is triple accredited. What this means is that 1% of business schools in the world have triple accreditation. And when Hult obtained it 6 years ago, we were the first American business school to do so. Even though we have a curriculum that looks very different, we have accreditations in Europe, in the UK, in the US that few other schools have. So, just saying before we go into the details of the curriculum. So the easiest way, because I know that this is a very different approach than what we are used to, is that in a traditional university, you're given a subject. Now we're going to study marketing, and we're going to teach you marketing, and then you go to the library and you memorize books on marketing, and then you take a test on marketing. At Hult, you're given business problems to solve during your undergraduate. And then we will teach you the finance and the marketing and the entrepreneurship and the business analytics that you need to solve that problem. And it is a problem that you will face out into the that you're very likely to face out in the real world after you graduate. So that is the easiest way to think about it. It's a curriculum designed to solve business problems, not study business subjects. And the most telling difference is what I mentioned already, the exam. You're not sent to the library to memorize books so that you can pivot and write an exam. You still have to read the books, but the books are there for you to solve the problem. And in the end, instead of sitting down with a written test, you and your team, because you have to do this in international teams, go on stage, again, deliver a PowerPoint, hand over your business proposal to the professors for review. And you are examined on your presentation skills. You're examined on your PowerPoint. You are examined on the details of your business proposal as you're pitching to investors. That is the most crucial difference. So, challenge-based learning, as I said, you're solving problems in international teams. You'll be put, for each new business problem that you get, you'll be put into an international team with people from various different countries. Half the goal is to solve the problem. The other half is that you learn. How does someone from Norway or Germany or Argentina or Canada go about their problem solving? How do they think? They are your future clients, they are your future colleagues, they're your future customers, and you want to get ahead by graduating from a university where you already have an understanding for their mindset. Excuse me. Just checking how much time I'm spending. I always talk for too much. Next, personal coaching. Every undergraduate student at Hult has a personal coach. Why? Because it is really difficult. It's not easy as an 18-year-old to be put into an international team and having to speak up in the classroom. The professor wants to hear your opinion. And the idea is that that personal coach is there to help you digest your feedback. Being in these groups will show you what you're great at. It will also show you what other people are great at. In high school, you have to be good at everything, right? At university, not so much. You have to be good at your thing. And we want to double that. We want to identify what that is and double down on it. And then you hire people in the future to complement your skill set. You just need to know what kind of people you need to surround yourself with. And that is why the personal coach is there, to help you understand your own academic journey. Finally, the skills development. As I said, no written exams at Hult at all. We will make you do some exams, but they're not for the grading. They're just to make sure that you're reading the materials and staying up with the pace. The skills development is always when you have to go on stage, when you have to present, when you have to showcase who you are and what you can do, right? All this leads to a business portfolio that you can graduate with, meaning that you can show your employer not just that you have a diploma and a transcript and a major in business and a minor in business, but also that you have a clear understanding of your skill sets. As a 25-year-old graduating, I went into the law firm being thinking I was great, and it turned out that I was not, because I didn't know myself, because I spent 4 years in the library, right? The business portfolio is there. Are you a diplomacy or the communicator? Leadership. The smartest person in the room is often the quiet girl in the corner. Are you the person to make her talk? Right? There are so many different skills that we need when we go into a company environment. The ability to communicate with people of different religions and from different cultures. Here's an example of what a classroom looked like at Hult. This is our London campus. It's a brewery, an old brewery in the middle of town that we refurbished in 2014. And as you can see, you don't sit in a traditional theater. It's more like a TED Talk. The professor is moving amongst the teams, excuse me, whilst teaching, and you sit with your team for the entire duration of that challenge. You sit with the team that you've been assigned. So, as I said, you have to solve business problems. And here's an example. Before you pick your major and your minor, you don't have the freedom like you do at other American universities to pick a variety of courses. American university is often about finding what it is that you want to do by trying many different things before you major. At Hult, you have to do our business challenges. In the first year, you'll do a startup challenge. This is the first thing that happens when you come to campus. Create a startup with a completely new product or service that fills a gap in the market. Second, a social impact challenge, social entrepreneurship. How can I make a business that makes money and do good for the planet? Or how can I take a brick and mortar in business and rebuild it into something that is environmentally sustainable? Future-proofing challenge. What's going to come and kill my business in the next 10 to 15 years? Right? Culture and media challenge. There's a crisis. How do we lock down and make sure that the entire company are communicating in a very straightforward and clear manner with the media? Complex decision-making challenge. We will create scenarios where you don't know what the right answer is. Right? And how do you go about doing your critical decision making? As and when, excuse me, as and when you don't know what the right answer is. The challenge is to understand how you go about making critical decisions, the process of it. So these are the example of the so-called core modules. Each time one is done, the team around you changes to ensure that you're constantly surrounded with people from different nationalities all through your tenure at Hult. But not just that, it also means over just 1,000 students where everyone study business, you get to know. You can't hide at Hult. If you love the library, if you want a safe space, then you should definitely not come to Hult, right? This is an environment where Everyone is very excited about business. Everyone knows that they want to learn from this particular design curriculum, right? This way of learning in order to mature and progress. But you'll make friends for life, right? Because before you build a network, which you also will, this structure of curriculum ensures that you will get to know all the people on campus, right? Or all the people in your year, because the teams keep rotating. Then you pick your majors and your minors. As I said, we only teach business. The majors in marketing, management, entrepreneurship, business analytics, and finance. All those majors also comes as minors. The minors we have in addition is psychology and design. Why? Because those are two subjects that are very good to pair with a business major. You don't pick your major and your minor until the second year. Super important. You allow the first year and the practical learning to guide you. Whatever gives you joy, whatever is the most fun, is where you will have the most success out in the real world. You don't have to make this decision straight away. Take your time, is my advice. The personal coach, as mentioned, who is there to digest your assessment feedback. You have to give feedback on your teammates. They give feedback on you. The professor gives feedback, and the coach gives feedback. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it is, but the whole idea is that this is how we're going to help you identify and grow as a person during university, so that you graduate far more mature and self-aware than someone who sits and memorizes books for 4 years in the library. You receive personal coaching. They're all professional coaches. This is what they do for a living, in order to help you in your academic journey, to guide you towards what career path you should take, connect and your learning and career path. You don't know when you're 17. I didn't. Most students do not. Even the ones that say they do don't really know, in my experience. It is through this environment that we can create a path for you, where you are allowed to figure out during your university where it is and what it is that you want to do. And of course, stay motivated and have fun. It's not easy to travel far away. I did not have the courage to do so until I was much later. I stayed in Sweden. It takes courage to go to the US or the UK. But at least at Hult, you're surrounded by people who all did the same journey that you did. You're not alone. Finally, the skills development. As mentioned, 60% of your grade is based on your demonstration, application, and continuous development of your mindset, core, and professional skills. 40% is the proposal you hand over to the professors to read through. Right? This is how we go about examining you and grading you in this curriculum. Finally, a lot of companies come to Hult, as I mentioned. They come because we invite them. We want them to be part of our curriculum. They come because of the diversity, right? It's very useful for companies to get a whole generation Z in one building. They have many marketing challenges or strategic challenges. Old executives don't know how to reach out to the younger generation. That is why the diversity is so important as well. Here are examples of companies that our students have consulted for as part of the curriculum in the last couple of years. Amazon, Facebook, Google, L'Oreal, McLaren, the list goes on. The companies come very happily. We don't have to fight and look for them. They come because they know that nowhere else can they get an audience like they can at Hult International Business School. Finally, all this leads to a business portfolio. The idea is that you graduate with a business portfolio showcasing your skills. You have a live dashboard of your achievements, and you can go into an employer and say, it's not just that I graduated with a business major in entrepreneurship and a minor in finance. Here are my skill sets. I already know. I spent the last 4 years understanding who I am and what it is that I can do. to many employers, myself included, hiring graduates straight out of university, they're often book smarts. They have the ability to learn what they need to do for an entry-level job. I can teach them that. What I cannot and don't have the time to teach them is the self-awareness, is the maturity, is someone who graduates and is 5 years ahead of their time because they have already spent so much time understanding their own skill sets, right? It is extremely useful to an employer with young employees that they know who they are. So, happy ending for me, but I got lucky. When I was at the law firm, I met Stephen Hodges, who was then the president of Hult, in a bar, and he said, "Come work for me. Quit the law firm, you should build something instead." And I got to move around the world, and I got to build campuses in Dubai and Shanghai and San Francisco and Boston and London. It's been a wonderful journey. But I got lucky. Please don't make the mistakes that I made. You owe it to yourself to try and figure out what it is that you truly enjoy and what you want to do. If you think you want to be a doctor, then find a doctor, shadow them, go to the hospital environment, see, is this really the place that I want to be? The answer is not in the TV shows or what the people around you tell you. You have to seek out the environment you believe you want to be in to understand if it feels right for you, right? Had I just gone to a law firm, I would have known straight away, but I didn't. So please, today we have talked about our practical learning curriculum at Hult, how we achieve that. You build a small campus in the middle of the city. You teach only business. You do diversity by design. Bring the world to the campus. You allow students to rotate around campuses in the world in order to grow and mature. And finally, you deploy a fully practical curriculum. This is how Hult has been built. In the last 20 years, we have grown from 60 students to 4,500. We have built 7 campuses around the world. We have gotten triple accreditation. We founded the Hult Prize, the world's largest social entrepreneurship competition. We acquired Ashridge Executive Education. We've done a lot in 20 years, more than many traditional universities have done in the last 100. And we are absolutely not stopping. So that is my presentation for today. Very happy to now take any questions you may have. I'm going to stop sharing my presentation now because it's so weird to look at myself on the screen. So there we go. Thank you very much for your time on a Sunday. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. Because our student already applied to Hult, including BBA and also master's degree. I know the greatness and very business-focused program. And actually, I'm also doing research at the University of Tokyo. I think the university in Japan, but there is a lot of like input to study, not for problem solving, but memorize the text and output only text in their exam. And I think many of Hult students at Hult are global leaders in the world because of the education in problem solving. Yes, that's great program.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. And so that's the question. So the campus for a BBA program, I think they're located in London and Boston.
Correct. So the two main campuses. Oh, sorry. Please finish the question.
Sorry. So thank you. And how should student decide which campus to go for their education and career?
Yeah, very good question. So Hult has taken great care to ensure that the educational experience is the same, right? It's the exact same curriculum. If you're accepted to one campus, you're accepted to all of them. We just need to help you get a visa. But Hult is fundamentally exactly the same. It's not partner universities. It's all mine. That sounded weird. It's all built by the exact same people with the exact same philosophy. It's the city that should guide you towards your choice. Cambridge, Boston, very academic city, law firms, pharma, technology, universities. It's a much calmer place, full of students and academia, right? London, world city, never sleeps, melting pot, so many different nationalities, lots and lots of startups in Boston and London, but lots of marketing, new ideas, a world hub. And you need to ask yourself what suits you, sort of what environment do you want to be in. But again, we very much encourage you to do both, right? You start off in London, say, you can take a summer course for 7 weeks in Boston during the summer to see if you like it. And if you do, you spend the next year in Boston. And or go back to London. It's completely up to you how you tailor your adventure.
Thank you. And so this is the question from my curiosity. While HAUT program is excellent, I believe that many schools emphasize academia, not only focusing on the business like HAUT, and emphasize academia and reading literature. So do you think students should choose schools according to their career orientation?
Yes. I mean, I think if someone wants to be a doctor or an engineer, then yes, please read the books 1,000 times. If you're going to operate on me, yes, please, I would appreciate if you read the books 1,000 times. But if you want to be a businesswoman, success, we have the data to show that high school grades, it's not a predictor for who's going to be a successful businessman and businesswoman. Why is that? It's because so much about being a business person has to do with your intuition. The little voice inside of you saying, can I trust this person? Is this a good idea? Is this a partner I should work with? And that intuition comes from the people we meet and the experiences that we have in life. To be a successful businessman or businesswoman, to be guided by your principles, you have to be there. You're going to make mistakes. You're not in control of the world, as the pandemic shows us, or whatever it is in the global economy that shows us that we will have to learn to have the skills to adapt instead. And that voice inside of you is completely quiet in the library, right? It doesn't speak to you. So when it comes to business, I would never say do a practical curriculum if you're going to be an engineer and go and just build a bridge and then we'll see if it works. But to do business, yes, this is absolutely the environment that I believe in. And you still have to read the books, but it's about how we deploy it, right? In order to get that practical experience. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. So I was so impressed because you use the word intuition. Yeah, right. Intuition. Yeah, I think it's a very essential component for business. Thank you. Absolutely. And so could you go over the application process for applying HAUT BBA program?
Absolutely. And I have someone from Hult Admissions here who can help me as well. Being in senior management, I'm not perfectly in the details. But the next deadline to apply to Hult, I should mention, is the 15th of December. Thank you. It's a so-called early action deadline. And it's a hard deadline. You can only apply for the 15th December for this. What does early action mean? And this is important to be aware of as well. It's an American concept, but it applies whether you apply to Hult in Boston or London. What it means at American universities is that you can pick, if Hult is your first choice, and you apply by the 15th of December, and you confirm your seat by the 15th of February, you are a so-called early action student at Hult. What it traditionally means in the United States is that you get priority parking, or you get to choose your accommodation before the other students. At Hult, and early action students get something different. After finishing their bachelor degree at Hult, they can then proceed to take a master's degree from Hult at 100% scholarship. So, and that's a very important thing for students to be aware of, because if they miss this opportunity, then they're often very upset with us afterwards. We're trying to do something cool. Basically, why we do it at Hult is we have the real estate. We have empty seats in the campus, and if we don't, all I need to do is tell the professor to teach the class twice. It's a huge saving for the family, for parents. It's over $50,000 to take a master's degree at Hult that you get 100% scholarship for. But it also creates super engaged students at Hult. Students know that I'm going to take my bachelor and my master's from Hult. They become great ambassadors. They are super committed and join the clubs and societies on campus, and they proceed to be very good influencers on the master's program when students come from other universities to do their master. So that is early action, very important. If you want to do a master's degree at 100% scholarship, you have to apply by the 15th of December. Now, the application process in itself, we have our own admissions teams around the world. We have Shinpei-san, who is on the call today, who is based in Hong Kong. He also have a colleague named Winnie, who is based out of Hong Kong as well. That is in order for you to have someone in your time zone or time zone adjacent who understands your culture or your country and where you come from and what it means to your parents, etc. Applying to Hult, you can apply through Common App or UCAS for the US and the UK. But more importantly, there is someone locally to guide you through this application, to help you understand which documents you need to submit, by when you need to submit them. Applying directly through our website is the fastest and easiest way to apply to Hult. It also gives you an opportunity to write a personal statement that is tailored only for Hult. If you apply, and that is very helpful in terms of getting accepted, and when we look at your application. If you apply through Common App or UCAS, it's 5 different universities and a more generic personal statement. Applying directly through our website allows you to write to some extent about why you want to go to Hult. Diversity by design. We have few seats, and we want them to go to the students that are the most passionate about Hult. Filling the campus is not difficult, but it is achieving that diversity. We had our first students from Greenland last year. I was very, very happy about that. And of course, we're looking for students from South Korea and Taiwan and Japan, East Asia. We want all of that diversity. So yes, applying through our website directly is what I recommend. To get an application started, we just need your personal details, your education history to fill out. You pay an application fee, and then someone from Hult will contact you and help you with the rest of the documents that you need to submit.
Okay, thank you. So if you want to 100% scholarship for a master's degree right after the BBA program, you should apply for the December 15th deadline.
Correct. And it's not binding. I should clarify. No one can force you to go to Hult, right? But you apply by the 15th of December, and then you have until the 15th of February to decide if you want to confirm. If you're still not sure, you can simply switch off the early action and confirm your seat by the 1st of May with everyone else. Then you lose the master's degree at 100% scholarship. But the only rush in all this is applying by the 15th of December. Then everything can slow down.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you are interested in how International Business School and also applying to college in the United States or UK or some Asian university, we are welcome to receive your questions in some career or educational consultation at Alpha Advisors. We have free consultation for 30 minutes at first, and you can ask us for how to application and other essay questions and English examination. So please feel free to contact us. Thank you. So thank you, Kali and Shinpei-san. Shinpei-san, do you have any comments at the end?
No, thank you very much, Kari. I'm also inspired by your story. I never heard of your story when I joined HALT, and then also inspired by how it's built. So yes, if anyone is interested in our UG program, BBA program, like he said, we can miss the early action second plan. You can also apply in March, April, of course, but like he said, we're gonna miss the opportunity to have the full scholarship for your master degree. So yeah, thank you very much for having time.
Thank you very much, Kali-san. If you have any comments for ending.
Thank you very much for
Thank
yes. Thank you very much for inviting me, Shinpei-san. Thank you everyone at Alpha Advisors. It was my pleasure to be here. Finishing words, I cannot stress it enough. You owe it to yourself to try and understand in what environment you want to be in after you graduate. Whether that is engineering, whether that is medicine, whether that is business, go visit the environment where you think you're going to work in the future to get a feel for yourself. Then you will know, and you will have a fun job that you enjoy. And if you have a fun job, you're going to have a happy life. It's very, very, very important. So please do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having your time. So
thank you so much.
So this is end for this session. So thank you for the audience, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.